Yeah, I heard some certain games that I've talked about before. They have been bombing really badly. Yeah, let's take a look. Yes, everything's out. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Hey guys, it feels like every other week or so we're here talking about how a Sweet Baby Inc. partner or a Sweet Baby Inc. client has a game that completely flops, and then the dev studio that partnered with Sweet Baby Inc. they go through massive financial issues, maybe layoffs, maybe go out of business entirely. You know,
didn't the CEO of, or not CEO, but the person in charge of Veilguard, they stepped down from Dragon Age? Yeah. I can't believe it, man. That's such a fucking bummer, man. People are like, oh my god, the gamers did this. The gamers, they're gonna shut down the game studio because they're not buying our games.
All this sort of really bad stuff. And well, here we are today. Over at Fandom Pulse, they have the headline, Sweet Baby Inc. infected Reflector Entertainment admits that Unknown Nine Awakening was a quote-unquote failure. So yeah, Reflector Entertainment was the dev studio that had partnered with SBI, and Unknown Nine Awakening was indeed...
Is that who I think it is? Hold on, go back. Go back. Oh my god, I'm so cringe.
So yeah,
sorry.
Reflector Entertainment was the dev studio.
Is that David Bedard? It's David Bedard!
That had partnered with SBI, and Unknown Nine Awakening was indeed that
Unknown
game that
for
has
real.
completely flopped, and one that we've covered a few times here on the channel.
It looks so washed out. It doesn't look like a AAA game at all. I wonder how much money they lost on this.
Quick stats to recap Unknown Nine Awakening.
I have to wonder.
It's got a... Man, that's bad. I just pulled up the Steam DB page and I'm like instantly met with a glaring red text here that says 35%.
Oh, that looks so bad!
That's such a negative...
No, look, go back! What? Why does her skin and her hair go so, like, bland looking? Like, she loses all of the highlights in her face? Is that beta? She got chroma keyed? Yes, like, unironically. It's sad. Look at the quality of the game.
Glaring red text here that says 35%.
That looks awful.
That's such a
Really
negative review
off-putting.
score. Oh my gosh, that's terrible. And 10 people in game. That's why I was like laughing instantly. My bad. It's just, as soon as I loaded the page, it just looks so bad. And I've seen this before, but it's still funny to see this.
Looks terrible,
And all-time
man.
peak player count 285, 24-hour peak 16, and in the game right now, 10. But this is all so much funnier because they had also expected this game to be such a smash hit. They thought this was...
This genuinely looks like a game from, like, the PS3 era, except that, like, a really bad PS3 game. I recently started playing Red Dead Redemption 1, and it unironically probably has better shading than this. This looks awful.
Going to be so successful that
like a
they
bad
had this whole
PS3
freaking
game, not a good
cinematic
one.
universe-esque thing, which I've once again covered this before and shown this image before, but for those who haven't seen this, there you go. And for those who have seen it, you can laugh at this once again because these people thought they were going to release this game, then have a whole comic book series, a novel trilogy, scripted podcast web series.
They put all this effort into it without the game actually being good. Do you guys remember when people would make games and then make movies out of them? The Concord treatment? Yes, like the Concord treatment of trying to release a game and then making a multi-million-dollar franchise out of it to try and, like, push it. Remember last time they tried to force something like Blizzard forcing esports on Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm and how that fucking sucked? People need to take notes. It's like they don't understand how the world works.
Like, they really thought this was going to be the next big thing.
Unknown, bro.
Alas, it turns out that Sweet Baby Inc. didn't really help them very much, did they? And that whole modern audience they were hoping to get, well, yeah, they got all 10 of them. Or, you know, okay, to be fair, a little bit more than 10. But, yeah, it's not good. Really quick, here's an example from the final boss fight of the combat, but also the dialogue. It just comes off so uninspired and generic. Like, I don't think they could have made it more boring if they tried. You know what? I don't want to make a bet on that, but you get the point.
Here I come.
Dragon Age looks better. At least I can tell what's going on and it's not washed out as fuck. Like, it already has washed out colors. This is arguably worse. Yeah.
Your end is upon you.
Why are they fighting underwater? What the fuck? What is this quality? Did they purposefully turn down the quality? Chad, why does he look like this? This looks worse than a mobile game.
You're too late. Reika will free session.
PS3 facial features, chat. Look at the teeth. No, seriously, hold on. I don't believe this can't be that bad. Come on. This is lowered graphics to make it look worse. Player on no, what's it called? Unknown. Oh God, I kept playing Unknown 9 Awakening gameplay. This has got to be turned down. This is actually in the game. Trailer versus reality. Oh my God, no. No, this looks like Guild Wars 2, but worse. And I don't mean that in a way to like disparage Guild Wars 2, but that game is old, is what I'm saying. Yeah, like this is what I expected, and this is what you get. Bro. Look at the shading, man. This can't be real, man. This looks so boring, no lie. Like, actually. Oh my God. What are those physics and like interactions? It feels so clunky. Yeah, the execution was bad. No, I understand what the concept is, like with them stopping and like starting and then doing this, but it's so bad. And when they're doing the time stop stuff, it looks like they're underwater, or it feels like it. I don't know, man. I've seen PS2 graphics with better graphics than this. PS2 games with better graphics. This is actually terrible.
You will be little more than.
Why are they like this?
What is happening?
And so yeah, this was based.
When I get kicked out, when I get banned out of stream.
And so yeah, this was basically for those who haven't seen the gameplay and all
kicked.
that. I'm trying not to rehash everything too much here because I think most people are familiar with this who are tuning in probably. But essentially, you know how it is. Another one of these like DEI, Sweet Baby
Back
Inc.
off!
sort of games. And yeah, we've seen how that worked out for them. Not very well at all. Like it's worked out terribly. Like astronomical failure. Terrible, terrible. So anyways,
Yeah,
Fandom Pulse then
it
writes,
looks ass.
reflect your entertainment, the development.
And it's funny because I said with skepticism, I'm like, oh, what if it's a really good game and then like, you know, haha, stick it to the chuds kind of thing. But it just didn't turn out to be that way. Well, look who it is.
Developer of Unknown 9 Awakening admitted its entire transmedia project centered around the video game is a failure. In a post to LinkedIn, CEO Herve Howard of Reflect Entertainment announced the company would be laying off employees due to the game's failure, and that the company would not be working on a future project that was in a concept phase. Howard wrote, "Today I informed our teams that I made the decision to not greenlight further work on a future project that was in conceptualization phase, and thus terminating this development line. Continuing this project would not have been sustainable for the future of the studio. Regrettably, this also means
really?
that there
No
will
way.
be redundancies following this decision." Next, he admitted Unknown 9 Awakening's failure. This decision correlates directly with the failure of the studio's ambitious and courageous first project, a new intellectual property with a rich transmedia universe. The performance of the release didn't come near the company expectations after numerous timeline adjustments and investments, both financially and other, and didn't warrant any further exploration in this universe. From
Bandai Namco bought this IP and thought it would be like the next, I don't freaking know, like, it would be like the next big thing. What is going on, man? I can't believe this, bro. They thought it was gonna be like the next, like, big old fucking. Wait, Bandai Namco? Wait, who made? I think they made Tekken? Yeah, the next Star Wars or whatever. Like Assassin's Creed project.
There, he detailed the current staff that is not getting laid off will be reassigned to an existing Bandai Namco IP. This new announcement comes after the company began mass laying off employees back in November. In a now deleted blog post, Reflector Entertainment General Manager Marc-Andre Seguin announced the company was reducing our team by approximately 18% of Reflector's total workforce. As for why the layoffs were happening, Seguin said, yeah, I don't know, my bad. That guy said, today's announcement isn't driven by commercial success or external pressures, but stems instead from our current reality, which is that at this time we cannot guarantee tangible work for all of the talented individuals we employ.
Well, it looks like we didn't make enough money. We better start chopping people's heads off.
The recent release of Unknown 9 Awakening and our 2 key production lines entering the early stages of development, we must make sure that our staff is laser focused on contributing to the projects that wholly benefit from their skill sets.
Corpo talk.
Later in the post, he says, this shift will allow us to take the necessary time to refine our processes and perfect our upcoming projects so that we can deliver experiences that are both meaningful and memorable for players. I like how they talk about making it meaningful and memorable for players when they don't have any players to begin with. Like,
this is what happens when companies and publishers just publish games for the sake of publishing. It sounds good on paper, but they didn't actually take a look at it, bro. That's depressing, man.
Maybe they should have focused on making the game actually, like, appealing. For one, that might help. And look, I'm kidding around a little bit. Like, a good game probably will be meaningful and memorable, but you know what I mean. It just sounds kind of funny when you take a look at the peak player count, which was like sub 300. Maybe I'm kind of taking a jab at low-hanging fruit, though. I will admit, perhaps I'm being a bit petty. But you know what? When we're talking about a Sweet Baby Inc. affiliate...
Not petty enough, bro.
Maybe there's no such thing as acting petty. I don't know. Continuing. Unknown 9 Awakening only hit an all-time peak concurrent player count of 285 when it released in the middle of October.
How much money did they spend on this game? Unknown 9 budget. High to 8, low 9 figures. Okay, let's assume it's high 8 figures. There's no way, man. Oh my god, man. That's way too much, man. Even $1,000 too much.
Poor player count came in the wake of the game being openly boycotted by numerous gamers after it was revealed that Reflector not only employed Sweet Baby Inc. co-founder David Bedard, but it had contracted with the company's CEO Kim Belair to be a story architect. So, quick side note, the last time I talked about this game, a lot of people in the comments were laughing at that. Like,
I will play devil's advocate. Even if they had a good story, I don't think the graphics and the gameplay could have been salvaged with a good story. I've played games before where the game itself is actually really fun, but the visuals and like the actual aesthetic is really off-putting. I can't name any off the top of my head right now, but there have been moments like that where I'm like, is this actually enjoyable? I don't know. It has to have at least some sort of like stylistic choice of graphics. And either that or it has to have good gameplay and then mediocre graphics or like graphics that are stylized.
Kim Belair, calling herself a story architect. Bedard and Belair's involvement were confirmed by the Shorty Awards that listed their credits on the entire branded project for Unknown.
Hell yeah.
The write-up ends with Fandom Pulse asking, what do you make of this admission that the game and the Transmedia project was a failure? Some people say that we shouldn't laugh at these devs, any devs like this rather, and that we're supposed to feel bad for them for losing their jobs. The thing is, most of these sort of people, if not all of them, are not genuine individuals who got into gaming because they love video games and they love gamers. They despise gamers.
Money.
And a lot of them don't even like gaming.
Money.
Or trading video games. They only get into this line of work as a way of facilitating their own political rhetoric and or trying to make some sort of DEI slop that they can then try and secure ESG funding, whether that's through some sort of investment firm or government program. A lot of them also turning around and then using that money to stuff their own pockets with in very corrupt ways. And then they end up releasing their DEI slop games, the modern audience doesn't show up, their game flops, and oh no, what did we do?
But then nothing ever happens because those companies that publish and or make those games never face repercussions. A game made by an indie that flops is a loss, but you can recover that through making more games if you have the means and to do so. You can make a good game even after a flop because you put in effort into it and you love the game. A really good example of that is, what is it called? God, it's literally escaping me. The guy with the big smile. Oh my god. The space game. Yes, No Man's Sky. That one. Jesus. I don't know why I couldn't name it. I don't know why. But he said that he took a loan out on his house after the game flopped and just buckled down and made the game good because he believed the game was salvageable and he made it happen.
In many cases, a lot of those people then turn around and try to play victim, blaming
These people
the gamers.
don't care.
Gamers just didn't support our product because they're a bunch of chuds, blah, 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 blah. Maybe they hit up their buddies at Kotaku or The Gamer, try and get these corpo journalists to write some article that's like a hit piece against gamers and try to prop the game up and get them some sales, and that usually doesn't work out either, and usually is very generous. That like never works out for them. So yeah, it's a complete mess. So yeah, it really shouldn't be surprising why gamers don't feel bad for these corpos. And that's really all I got to say about that little side note, as well as the continuing downfall of Reflector Entertainment.
Concord is a reflection of that because they weren't even willing to try and salvage the game. It didn't even go free to play, right? They just said, we're pulling the plug, goodbye. They don't care. They'll take the L and then write it off as a tax write-off. They don't give a fuck. They have millions and billions of dollars.
After the release of their game Unknown 9 Awakening. But
Indie
definitely
games can't
consider
do
letting
that.
me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments. As always, thank you for tuning in.
Giga
Also
cringe.
consider liking and or subscribing to the channel if you enjoyed the coverage. Appreciate ya, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Concord got outlived by a housefly. Yeah, that was a huge freaking meme. It got outlived by a housefly, man. They put in $250 million into cinematics that nobody gave a fuck about because the game was already dead. They bought a Netflix series section for their stupid game to get featured in, and it didn't even work out. It's pathetic, man.